ever hear a mountain go quiet, John?
Can't say I have.
Neither did they.
That usually means I'm about to hate this file.
Soviet Union, winter 1959. 9 hikers found dead in the Ural Mountains. Tent cut open from the inside. No signs of a struggle, no survivors.
And let me guess, the internet thinks it was ghosts.
Ghosts, military experiments, creatures in the woods, radiation, aliens. Take your pick. People have been feeding this one for decades.
Yeah, because nobody likes the idea that nature can kill you without needing a monster attached to it.
Maybe, or maybe they ran into something.
People normally run from something. Fear usually gets there first.
Explain why they left the tent barefoot.
Now that's the part that keeps this one alive. February 1959, a hiking group led by Igor Dyatlov sets out across the northern Ural Mountains. Experienced hikers. They were young, but they came prepared. Most of them were students. Their goal was simple: reach the mountain, cross the pass, then get back home. But somewhere during that night, something changed. Search teams found the campsite weeks later, their tent still standing. The supplies were still inside. The boots, they were still inside too, along with their coats too. Everything a person would need to survive the cold, left behind. Then there was the cut. Their tent had been sliced open from the inside, not torn, not collapsed. Cut, which meant one thing. Something made them one out fast enough to ignore the front entrance. Tracks in the snow showed the group fled on foot. Some were barefoot, others wearing socks. A few were partially clothed. Sub-zero temperatures. Open wilderness, middle of the night. That's where the story stops sounding rational to people. Because the first question becomes, what scares 9 experienced hikers badly enough to make them run half-dressed into a frozen forest? The bodies were discovered over time, not together, scattered all around, some near a small fire, some farther into the woods, some buried beneath snow. A few died from hypothermia. Others carried injuries investigators described as severe, fractured ribs, skull trauma, internal damage. But strangely, examiners found very little external injuries. That detail fed the theories for decades. People said it looked impossible, like they'd been hit by something enormous or something not entirely human. Then came the radiation reports, the missing tongue, the damaged eyes, the Soviet investigation. And suddenly the case stopped being a tragedy in the mountains. It became mythology. And honestly, I understand why. Because even stripped down to the facts, this case still feels wrong. 9 people entered those mountains. None of them came back. And whatever happened out there happened fast enough to send them running into the dark barefoot. That's the part nobody forgets. The problem with Dyatlov Pass is that every explanation feels incomplete. That's why the case survives. Not because people are stupid, not because everybody wants monsters, because human beings hate unfinished things. An avalanche explains some of it. The damaged tent, the panic, the sudden escape into the dark. Hypothermia explains more. Confusion, disorientation, paradoxical behavior. People freezing to death don't always act rationally. Sometimes they undress, sometimes they wander, sometimes they make decisions that only make sense to a terrified brain trying to survive. The mountain explains part of it too. Wind, darkness, isolation. The kind of cold that doesn't feel real until it's inside you. And the injuries, not as impossible as people made them sound. Snow pressure, falls, terrain, delayed discovery. A body left beneath winter long enough stops looking human in ways people aren't prepared for. That's where the missing tongue theories came from. The eyes, too. Nature doesn't preserve people gently, but even after all that, something still lingers. Because rational explanations don't erase emotional truth. And emotionally, this case feels wrong. 9 experienced hikers don't abandon shelter in sub-zero darkness unless something convinces them staying put is worse. Maybe it was panic, maybe environmental collapse, maybe fear spreading through the group faster than reason could catch it. That happens, especially in darkness, especially in isolation, especially when nature stops feeling familiar. And maybe that's the real horror of Dyatlov Pass. Not monsters, experiments, or ghosts in the snow. Just the realization that human beings can reach a point where fear overrides everything else. Training, logic, instinct, even survival itself. People want this case to be supernatural because supernatural things feel distant, controlled. A mystery creature in the woods is easier to live with than the idea that terror alone can dismantle a group of intelligent people in a matter of minutes. But the truth is, sometimes nature doesn't need help frightening us. Sometimes the dark is enough. Only one thing, fear spreads, especially in groups. When one person panics, others follow.
You know what bothers me most about this one? 9 people, experienced people, and not one of them stayed behind.
Doesn't take a ghost to start a stampede.
Maybe, still, people freeze all the time. Sometimes they get lost, unexpected storms. But this case, this one feels like they saw something.
People say that because they need the fear to have a face. I think fear usually arrives before the explanation does.
And you don't. That's a dangerous way to look at the world.
Safer than inventing monsters every time people don't understand something.
You ever notice you spend an awful lot of time talking about monsters for somebody who doesn't believe in them?
Occupational hazard.
You know what I think? I think something happened on that mountain the hikers understood, and we never will.
That's not the same thing as paranormal.
Never said it was.
Yeah? That's the problem with you. You leave just enough room for people to keep the lights on.